Mo Flava on 947.
For some, cash is truly king. And as the concept really revolves around how we all love money, I agree. But in the practical sense, I don't agree. While a lot of us love the sight of stacks and stacks and racks of money, I'm not a big fan of cash. And I got reminded of this week. So a couple of people owe me money, and some of them want to pay me back in cash, as in physical cash, bring the money to me, etc. Some even sent me like a money voucher, and then I need to go withdraw the money. And I was like, no, man, guys, pop it into my account. I don't want cash. So it kind of just reminded me of my relationship with money, particularly cash versus cashless, if you like. Call me a member of the cashless society. And one of the reasons why is that, honestly, I've always just struggled to keep track of money if I'm carrying physical cash. 1 minute at 24 minutes past 9, you're at 1,000 Rand. Literally 3 hours later, you've got 700 Rand, and you can't quite make out where the 300 went. So that's one of the reasons why I'm like, nah, I'm done with cash. Obviously, there's safety issues as well. That goes without saying. And then, of course, things get lost. And for someone like me who doesn't carry a wallet around, the same pocket that I put my money in is the same pocket that I put my phone in and my car keys. So you can imagine when you pull out your car keys and a couple of 200 Rand notes get pulled out by mistake and then they disappear. So I'm not a fan of cash. And I'm just sitting here thinking, am I the only one who's a part of this cashless society? Or is cash still something that completely excites you? You go to an ATM and you withdraw, a couple of grand, and, before you spend it, you look at it and you smell the notes if they're fresh notes, and you're just like, if it's not in my hand physically, I don't consider it being money. It has to be in my hand for me to believe that I've got the money. That's the chat I'd like you and I to have today as we wrap up the week, and I'm well aware that it's payday for some people as well. Are you a part of the cashless society, or do you still feel that cash is king, that you carry cash around everywhere you go? And I'd love to know some of the reasons why, right? I think that's what I'm more fascinated with. So drop your comments, and let's see how this money's going to rake up.
947.
Of course, there are a lot of businesses that are cash driven, where, cash is king, and South Africa is still largely a cash economy, if you like. So I'm not naive to that fact, but I'm just saying that on my end, if you come to me right now and ask me for 50 Rand, I'm going to be like, okay, please send me your number. Let me send you a voucher, or let me EFT the money. Let me send you $50 via EFT because I don't carry cash. And there's a lot to be said about the psychological sort of impact of having cash on you. For some people, it literally makes you feel like you have a lot of money. And it's not something that's to be taken lightly. It's not a trivial thing. But I just don't think that cash in the physical sense is truly king. And it's for safety reasons, and also for me to be able to track where the money goes. Because once you spend $100 of that 1,000 Rand, I promise you it is downhill from there.
Hi Mo, definitely part of the cashless society. But what I do when people give me cash is that I save it, and when I have a certain amount, I go put it in my bank. So I use cash as a way of saving. Not the best way of saving, because when I need money, that's where I go to, but I use it as a way of saving.
You see, the other problem is that I don't want to go to the bank. I cannot tell you when last I went to the bank. Like, I haven't been to the bank in a long time. No, seriously. Like, why? ATM, for what? What am I doing at an ATM?
Mo, what up? Good morning. In 2026, it doesn't excite me anymore, especially since I registered for VAT. Cash doesn't excite me. In fact, when I have cash, there's just problems. And everything, yes, I don't prefer even holding like physical cash, because I give, whenever I have cash with me, like in my pocket. Like if I go to a car wash, I'll drop cash. If I go to, like everywhere I'm paying, right? and there's a bit of a tip off, I'll leave cash. So I stopped completely. But anyway, have a blessed Friday.
Look, I get you. Like, for example, you go to a mall and, the lady comes up to you and says, no, please, can I wash your car? And then you're like, no, I don't have cash. She's like, no, I've got a card machine. I'm like, brilliant. Get going. You know what I mean? I'm happy to tap my way through life. You know what I'm saying?
The only time where I get to carry a lot of cash is when I'm in KZN. You understand? Because, like, that side, everything needs cash. I mean, can't buy a bread using a card. If you need cash, you have to go to town. And going to town is something else because you need cash. You understand? And you can't just go to town for like, if you need like 100 rand or something, you understand? So that's when I get to carry a lot of cash.
Yeah, I hear you. It's the thing I was saying to DX off air about, when I go back to visit my family in Soweto, and then obviously some of the people that I grew up with or whatever, always asking me for money. So now the trick is don't carry cash. Hey, they're going to kill me when they hear this.
947.
Look, tipping does become a bit of a challenge, especially in some instances where, the waiter or whoever you're trying to tip would prefer that you give them the money directly. But thank heavens for cash sends, eh? Because then you can just send the money. So I'm always jotting people's numbers down. If you go to my cash send history, there's so many numbers there because that's how I prefer it. I don't carry cash. So whether it's at the car wash or whether it's at a restaurant, if I'm going to tip you, it's going to come electronically. And it just works better for me. Yeah, some people have a knack with cash, as in they're able to regulate their money properly. They even divide it in the different denominations, 20 Rand, 10 Rand, 50 bucks, 100 Rand. It can get quite meticulous for some. But I just think that cash is so dangerous and it plays mind games with you. So keep it away from me. Ernest, good morning.
Good morning, Mo. How are you doing?
Not too bad, and you, my bud?
Good. I believe in cashless as well. I really, truly, carrying cash, I think you're inviting danger in certain instances. But, for instance, if you bank with FNB, you got the e-wallet. You can send an e-wallet. They can either draw the money or they can transfer it to their account. So what do you need cash for?
Yeah, I agree with you if you're sending it. I'm just curious, Ernest, when you are, in the possession of like, a couple of thousand in the palm of your hand, I mean, how does that make you feel? Does it, is it a psychological thing? Is it an emotional thing? Do you struggle to keep track of cash when you have it?
Struggle to keep cash because you got it, and that actually doesn't mean as much. You tend to spend it much more quicker.
I agree. It's like you run a tap and you forget it's running.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just flows out your pocket.
Yeah. All right, Ernest. So, in other words, you and I are in the same boat, right?
In the same way,
cashless.
man.
Yeah.
Cashless must be.
Thank you. Thanks for the call, Ernest. Have a lovely day. The other thing is, people are very observant, eh? You whip out your wallet or your sling bag and then somebody notices that you've got cash in there. And then all of a sudden they think you've actually got money. Yes, I've got money. It's my money, which has a purpose. That doesn't give you the right to ask me for money because now you've noticed that I've got money because I've got cash on me. So you're just inviting unnecessary attention, man. Huh? Every time I'm out at Groove, clubs, etc., DJing, and you see guys there rolling with stacks and stacks of cash, I'm just like, bro, like how fascistas? Why are you such a show off? How about you just tap and go, my bud? Yeah. Not my vibe. So listen, if you bump into me this weekend and you have the balls to ask me for money, please note that I don't carry cash. I don't carry cash. That's the only thing I can say to you.
947.